Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a nitty yarny podcast. Like, what did I want to say? Like, nightly? It's not night, it's the afternoon. Nitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you are doing very well. I am. So in case you don't know, France is currently under a lockdown to help hopefully our hospitals and our general population manage the pandemic of the COVID virus. I will briefly address the situation at the end of the episode just to let you know how things are going for me. I'm fine, I am very well for now, everything is good. I think we're all very overwhelmed by the presence of that in the media, so I do want the podcast to just be a little bubble and to talk mostly about other things, the things that make us usually happy. Yeah, there's not much else I can do that for you, so here we are. I have a new pattern release to talk about. I have another finished object. We will address my outfit. We will. A finished project. Actually, I have a couple more as well, which I will briefly show you. And I have two new works in progress. So yeah, quite a bunch of new things. And I also want to show you some pretty yarn that was kindly sent to me. So yeah, pretty much a bunch of really cute things. So I hope you're gonna enjoy this little episode. I'm gonna start right away. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, feel free to look down and only watch what you like. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and patterns on Ravelry. So here we are. I will start with a new pattern release. So I have just put on Ravelry a new design, which is the beginning of my little spring socks collection. So if you watched like last episode or a little bit before, you might know I have been working on putting together 3 sock designs that I am going to release now over spring. Basically, I love knitting socks. I love knitting intricate motifs, and it happens that they go really well together. So this collection is gonna be all about making like intricate looking lace, cables and twisted stitches, but on a little scale, because that's the advantage of a sock, is that you can experiment with things and you can make very pretty looking things, but it's small. So if you're a beginner, if you don't want to mess your head too much, that's just ideal, and they just look so pretty. So basically this is the little collection, and I have finished all of them. Like the second sock of this blue pair is currently drying. I just finished it this morning, so my little collection is ready. I will be releasing one pattern a month, so one now in March, the second in April, and the third one will come in May. So over the springtime in my side of the world, you will have these little socks to keep you busy if you like them. And the first pattern is currently available on Ravelry. I just put it up. You have seen it already before. This is the very first one that I knitted. I actually knitted it like at the end of 2019. And so these are the Adali socks, and this is what they look like. So they have this panel of twisted stitches, teeny tiny cables, and a little bit of eyelet work over the front of the sock. The twisted ribbing at the top that merges into it. That's how they look like at the front. And at the back of the leg they have a slightly different motif with twisty cables at the back of the leg. Like most of my sock pattern, this has 2 heel options, so they're knitted cuff down. That's how I'm always write my sock pattern because I really do not like toe-up socks. I know I need to dive into it because my problem is that first I really hate binding off ribbing. I never find, like, I don't like the process of it, and on top of that I never found any type of stretchy bound off that I personally think looked good. I know all of the options because every time I talk about it people send me like recommendations from bind off, and that's very kind, thank you. So far I have tried all that I have come across and I hate all of them equally, so yeah, I guess that's just my thing. So that's why I write my pattern cuff down, but I do think I should make toe-up alternatives whenever possible. Here it would be possible, although the cable would just be angled differently, so it wouldn't be too hard to convert them to toe-up if you are able to make the heel that you want. And that's my other thing with toe-up socks, is that I really don't like the setup of my favorite heel, which is the heel flap and gusset when you do it toe-up. I can't make it fit me well. So these are cuff down and they have two heel options, the heel flap and gusset, and the heel flap is an eye of partridge heel flap. So it's the one that sort of offsets every right side row, so you have this sort of diamond-y shape. And then you have a German shovel heel option as well, if you prefer to make that. So cuff down, two different heels to choose from, and a rounded toe. This is basically my favorite sock construction, so that's what we have here with this intricate motif. And so it is not difficult. The stitches themselves are pretty easy. Like, it's simple 2x2 cables, twisted stitches, and simple decreases. Some of my testers were rather new at knitting motifs, like textured motif and or socks, and they all did very well, and they all liked the motif and found it easy to familiarize themselves with. So I was really happy with that, because it means that the sock is like, I always feel that the things are deceptively intricate, like they look really fancy and intricate and you're gonna think, oh my god, I'm gonna have to follow the chart, but it's actually pretty easy, and you just keep the chart in a corner of your eye so you know what you're supposed to do in this row, and it just flows. And yeah, like I said, it's a pair of socks, so they're small, they're easy to do, and they're very satisfying to have, and I just think that they're so beautiful. I really like fancy lace socks. It's quite funny because it doesn't really suit my style. Like, I wouldn't, like, I can see these being worn with like open shoes and or little derby shoes. We say I think that's a French, I don't know. In fashion, in French, we use a lot of words that are technically English words, but they're not the one that you use to describe the same thing. Anyway, small city shoes, like spring looking stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other type of shoes, but yeah, with these types of nice fancy preppy type of shoes with a little flowy dress and thing, it's not really my style, but I do love the socks, so yeah, that's kind of funny. My mom loves them, so I think they're gonna go to her every time. Like, she's seen the 3 pairs of socks and that were just putting on my, I would just put them on my desk basically, and they were like just there, and every time she comes and see me, she just, you know, she just pats the socks, like barely looking at me, but she's patting the socks. So it's like, okay, I get it. Just let me release the pattern and then you will be able to have the socks. But yeah, so this is Adelie. Adelie, which is like an old-fashioned name. It's like Ada, and then Lee, which I really like that name. It's I think it's one of my favorite names. But that's it. And so I decided to use it for these socks. So for the 3 pairs I used Opal sock yarn. So Opal is the German brand, like it's a commercial brand that makes a lot of sock yarn. I use their standard 4-ply sock weight, which is the fingering weight. It has 425 meters to 100 grams. Superwash wool, nylon, standard sock yarn, works great. I can make 2 pairs out of 1 ball, and I can wear them to death. Very solid yarn. It shows textures absolutely beautifully. But it works with any type of sock yarn, and some of my testers have used slightly more variegated yarns, and depending on how contrasting it is, it still shows very interestingly the motif. Usually that's what you want. If you're using a variegated yarn but you do want the motif to show, you shouldn't take yarn that have a high contrast in their colors. Like, don't take something that is variegated orange and blue. Maybe take something that is more in the same shades of cold bluish green thing, and in that case the thing will still show, depending on the motif. And this works alright. Obviously it's better to use a solid color if you like, and yeah. So yeah, like I said, they look intricate, but they're not that complicated. They're actually the most complicated one out of the 3. So I'm just going to show you quickly the other ones. This one you've already seen last episode. I was knitting on it. You all loved it a lot on Instagram, so yeah, these are done. These will be for April. And the last pair is this one. So, little picot thingy here, and a lace panel down the front. And yeah, I think by order of difficulty I made the exact opposite. So we're starting with the most difficult one. Again, really not difficult. If you've already knit a sock, you should be totally fine. And like I said, some of my testers were actually quite beginner in socks. It was someone's first socks. I was like, okay. So you can see that there's really nothing to be afraid of when you're a beginner. You can do anything. And yeah, they're actually the most intricate looking. The next one are going to be slightly less intricate, and the last one are going to be the easiest. So I don't know why I did that, but I think it's kind of to trick you, because the logic would be to start with the most beginner friendly and then gradually make it more difficult so that you build on your skills. But they're all actually quite different. I mean, is that their difficulty is different. Like, it's not, you don't necessarily need the same skills to knit each of the motifs on the 3 pairs. So yeah, I guess it's not too it's not too problematic, but you might have the nice surprise of actually starting with these ones and then finding the other ones so easy. So that can be nice as well. So yeah, Adelie is now live on Ravelry, and yeah, you can find the link in the description under the video. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit obviously I'm a little bit phased out, and I'm like feeling weird, and I'm not sure if I'm saying everything I want to be saying, but yeah. There is a little discount for the release. It's gonna be 15% off with the code Adelie in caps, and as usual all the details are in the description and on the pattern page. So in case you like it and you fancy knitting some socks at the moment, there's quite a trend obviously with Line Lens magazine book that came out, the 52 weeks of socks, and quite a few designers are making socks at the moment, and that's quite nice because I'm a sock person and I've been trying to push sock knitting so much, and I'm just so happy to see a lot of people knitting socks. So this is my contribution, the first pair of my socks, springy socks. I didn't come up with a name, but yeah, you can find them on Ravelry. So I have showed you the 2 other pairs, and so they're one of my finished object. I have finished the 2 other pairs. I'm gonna start like call for testers for these soonish. But I have also finished another work in progress and I am currently wearing it. So in the last episodes I showed you I was knitting on this wrap thingy. Someone told me in Australia that is called a crossover top, so that's quite nice. In French we call it, literally we say hide heart, so cache cœur, that wrapping thing of the top, we call it hide heart because it like sort of hides your heart, I guess. I just thought it was kind of cute, so that's why I'm giving you this information. So in case you're ever in France, not now, but in case you're ever in France again one day and you're looking for something like this, you will know how to say it. So yeah. This is the Venice wrap tank, which is a pattern by Gorilla Knits, and it's a little simple summery top. And so I am wearing it like this because one, it's not that warm yet. It's very sunny, very windy, but very sunny and 20 degrees, but it's not hot enough to just be wearing this, even though I did try it on just like this and it's kind of cute. But I'm not sure how to wear that thing, basically. Like I told you last time as I was working on it, I'm not sure. So I decided to put it over white t-shirt. I'm not convinced, but I think it's kind of cute, right? It maybe works. The thing is, this t-shirt is quite old, and as you can see, the neckline is wobbly here, so maybe I just need a better t-shirt. But yeah, anyway, so this thing is finished. So basically it's a wrap thingy that you knit flat. You knit first one front, you start it here at the ribbing, you decrease, you do the same for the second front, then you knit the back, which has a racer back. It has a racer back shape. And if I do want to wear it just like this, I need to get appropriate bras, because I realize I don't have bras that fit for racer back. Anyway, then you seam things together with the mattress seam. I am very happy with my mattress seaming here. Very, very good. I'm very happy with it. 3 needle bind off the shoulders, and then you pick up stitches here on the ribbing and you knit the band. And you knit the band in like double knitting stockinette, so it's just a split stitch system that makes it like a tube basically. And you knit them quite long. I think it's something like, for my size it was like 90 centimeter. I don't know because it's only written in inches, right? Don't worry, I'm not gonna complain again. But yeah, you can see it's a little bit difficult. But yeah, and you just wrap it around you like that, however you want. Just trying to, casually getting dressed on YouTube. So yeah, I think that's good. So yeah, that's how it works. Really quick, really pleasant to do, just really mindless stockinette. And yeah, I think the result is kind of cute. It fits me really well. I knitted the second size, so basically the sizes, they work like it's to fit 30, 32 inches, 32, 34, and etc. But basically it's 2 by 2. And mine fits me quite well, because I'm right in the middle, like my bust is, depends, 82 to 86 centimeters, so that's around 33 inches. And so I knitted size S, size small, so I was right in the middle of the size I was knitting, so it fits me really well, even though I didn't even check gauge. But I'm really happy with the result. I used BC Garn Bio Balance, so this is a goat certified blend of wool and cotton, and I absolutely love it. It's really light. I love it's super soft. I'm definitely making a bunch of summer tops and even maybe lightweight sweaters in this, because it's a fingering weight. It's really affordable. If you're around Europe, you can get BC yarn pretty easily. Like I said, it's GOAT certified, and it's a really nice material. Basically, it's really, it has all the benefits of cotton and wool. It's pleasant to knit. It's elastic, but it has that nice heathered effect I can't articulate, and it's pretty light and breathable. So as you can see, there is no basically the finishing is just raw, meaning that when you knit the top here at the edge and here around the armhole, you just have a stitch, an edged stitch that you knit every row, and you don't do anything else basically. When I finished it, obviously it was rolling because it's just stockinette, and I wasn't sure of what I was going to do. I considered making like a teeny I-cord all around, but I was able to pin it down, block it, and it looks okay. I'm fine with it. This is very straight here. Here it still rolls a bit, but I think that's kind of part of the thing, right? So yeah, my Venice wrap tank by Gorilla Knits, and I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I just need to figure out a better outfit. So yeah, I don't know. It looks so good on others, but I need to figure out how to wear it. I do like it like that. Let me know what you think. It kind of has that mood of like a worker's outfit. I sort of look like I'm working in a car shop. Let me know. I do like that. I think my mom is yelling at her colleagues. I'm sorry if you can hear her on the phone. I will talk about that situation later. But yes, basically, little teaser. I have turned into an IT support hotline. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. It fits really well. I just need to get accustomed to it. Let me know what you think. Do you have any ideas of how I could wear it? My wardrobe is basically t-shirts and high-waisted pants, and some dresses, some linen dresses, and that's it. That's my wardrobe. Yay. Let me know what you think. I like it like that, you know, it's fine. I have said enough about that top already. I really like it. If you fancy a cute little summer top and you like that shape, I totally recommend it. The pattern is very clear, very easy to follow. Every size is written on different pages, so it's really nice and smooth sailing. So that is it for my finished objects. So I have cast on 2 new things. I'm gonna start with the design one, because it's like, hello, here's my work in progress. Basically, I really wanted to share it with you because I started it over and over a few times. I'm still not sure. I'm not gonna undo it. For a very long time, have some yarn that was sent to me for a collaboration. So last year, no, 2 years ago, I think, I participated in FiberShare, which, if you don't know, is a swap, is an international swap for yarn goods. So I participated in, and I was matched with someone who lives right next to me. Her name is Deborah. She lives in like a really close village attached to my town, and so that was really funny. And so we actually met. We went for coffee. We met, and she and like we exchanged the package. And she is actually a yarn dyer. So not only yarn, she dyes fibers. She does an array of different things. She does really pretty semi-solid colors. So she has a way of, like, she has shades that are very nuanced, but then she has some that are like, it's weird because they're very deep and intriguing, but they're pretty uniform, so that's, yeah, that's interesting. And she also dyes really fun variegated colorways. If you like purple and green, she's the person. So her yarn is Les Petites Potions, which means like the little potions. She recently changed, so you can find her on Instagram under that. And yeah, she dyes fibers as well if you want to spin. So yeah, that is her. And she contacted me like a long time ago to ask me if I wanted to collaborate with her and make a pattern with her yarn, which I said yes, absolutely. And then proceeded to get myself into other collaborations that were more pressing, meaning that they were not as well organized, and I had to set back everything and delay my plans for months. And I felt really bad because I really wanted to work with her yarn and share her work, because I think she's doing a beautiful job. She has a variety of different bases. She's working really hard to make it work. And I have this, and then you'll see that I didn't do it on purpose, but then my other work in progress you'll see is another of her yarn. So this is the Deborah's episode, basically. I think Deborah is the French version of like Deborah, but we have a O here, so that's her name, Deborah. Yeah, I really wanted to make that design, and so I'm really happy that I came to it. But the problem is, meanwhile, what happened is that the original idea I had, it was supposed to be a shawl, so using these two colors, and the stitch from my Vercors cowl and the cherry wood pullover. So they're like elongated slipped stitches that make like little V's like this. And that's the original idea I sent to her like more than a year ago. And since I'm a horrible person and that took forever, in the meantime, another designer like Melody Hoffman, which is Bay Mandarins, she basically made exactly what I wanted to do. She made a beautiful cowl and scarf. You can get the two versions, which is exactly what I wanted to do. It's the Into the Woods cowl and scarf, and I wanted to do that. And so she made it, so it's absolutely, I think she knitted it in Gilliatt by Derrerum Natura, so it's a thick yarn. It looks amazing. And so, well, I was like, okay, now I need to find something else. Which, you know, I'm always happy about being able to do different things. That was quite interesting, actually, looking for a different project. And so, yeah, I basically set some time aside to figure out what I wanted to do. And so the idea was to make a shawl with these. This is her sweet alpaca base. So it's 70% alpaca, 20% cashmere, and 10% no other way, 20% I forgot. Oh my god, I'm a horrible person. And I don't have the labels anymore because I have her old labels. It's the alpaca and cashmere and silk blend. I think it's 20% cashmere and 10% silk. I think that's it. So that's mainly alpaca. So that's like a really, like, obviously alpaca, cashmere and silk. I mean, yes, the softest thing ever. Really squishy little halo. I love it. It's gonna drape a lot. So I wanted to make a shawl. And I've been knitting pretty intricate things lately, and so I kind of felt like something floating, something a little bit easier, and I wanted stripes. So I started this little shawl. It's gonna be an asymmetrical shawl. So basically I have this little thing here and I'm increasing on one edge, and I'm just gonna increase. And at the moment I'm striping the two colors. I don't know if you can see much, but basically I'm striping the two colors. I have I'm uncertain because I want to do something specific with the borders later, like by picking up the stitches. So basically I have a slipped stitch and then a couple of stitches of garter stitch, and I want on at least one of the borders to do something to add to that later, to add like a border, like a tiny thing, just to have a neat finish. I have an idea, but I need to try it out. But so far this is what I have, and this is what it looks like, teeny tiny. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep increasing and keep striping the two, and then I'm going to incorporate some lace. I have a lace. Actually, why didn't I take the swatch? I swatched for it to show the idea, to show her the idea, and because like I wanted her to approve it before starting to knit on it. And so then I'm gonna incorporate sections of lace, and it's that way, and it's gonna look like that. So this is a little bit too loose. I'm using a smaller needle because I find that this is a little bit too loose, but this is the lace motif I'm going to incorporate here, and yeah, in that color. So yeah, this is sort of what we're doing. I'm gonna alternate sections of stockinette with stripes and then sections of lace, and that's the plan. And the only uncertainty so far is that border situation. Obviously it's pretty clean like this, but what I want to do is, as you can see on the straight edge, it's sitting pretty nicely. I like this, but my idea was to do something on the increasing edge. I kind of want to pick up stitches here and then work a little bit of garter and then bind off in I-cord with the contrast color at the end. So around this, it's really hard to see. Use your imagination, alright? Picture a huge, beautiful shawl finished with lace and everything, and little tiny bubbles as you sew, many more stripes, and here it is. And then on that edge here, the increasing edge, I want to pick up the stitches and then add a portion of contrast color, garter stitch and I-cord bind off, and leave the other one like this because it's pretty neat already like this. That's what I want to do. That's the plan. I think that's what I want to do. A munch, like maybe I could do it on both edges, but I don't want to. I kind of like that it would be just one. Yeah. That's the plan. I think I'm gonna do it like this. I just decided I'm gonna do it like this. And yeah, so this is my current design work. This already has a name. It's gonna be the Emelda shawl. Emelda, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to pronounce my own things, so you can see that you can pronounce them however you like, because I myself don't know how. I just thought of something because you may know the designer Anna Johanna. So I think she's from Finland. She's currently writing a book of her designs. She makes absolutely beautiful designs. Some color work, some other more textured pieces. I really like what she does. So it's Anna Johanna, and she is currently making an alphabet of her designs. So she completed the alphabet, meaning that she has a design, at least one design in each letter of the alphabet, the Latin alphabet, and yeah, and so I just saw that she was doing that, and basically every day she's sharing, for like a couple of weeks now, she's sharing every day first the designs of the letter A, B, etc. And it just got me thinking, like, oh, that's interesting, and I just went through my own designs, seeing what letters my patterns were, and I almost have all of them. I think I'm missing about 10 letters. There's way too many C and A. Definitely have a problem with those letters. And I'm missing E, I'm missing Y. No, I'm not missing Y. No, that's the thing, like I'm missing some letters, but I'm not actually missing the most difficult ones. Like I'm missing the X, obviously, but that is that's doable. We're gonna find something. But yeah, I just find that interesting. So I just went through my designs and found which letters I was missing. And so I'm kind of biased now when I'm thinking about a name for a design. I look at the letters I'm missing and I'm like, oh, can I try to fit it in? And so I am missing the letter E, and so this is gonna fill it. It's gonna be the Emelda shawl. So hey, that's the story. Like that's the story of, that's literally the story of this name, is that I was looking for a word in E, and I found that, and that's it. That ends there. That's the story of this shawl. Anyway, so that's the design I'm currently working on. I'm really happy because I'm gonna just do stripes for a bit, and it's gonna be really relaxing. So that's it. Then I have started another personal project. So now that I finished my sock, because I wanted to finish the socks first so that I could call for testers. So now that that's done, I now have one design, one personal project again, which is really good. And the personal project I have, I don't know why I wanted to do that. I wanted to make a textured sweater. Basically, I wanted to make twisted ribbing. I don't know why. I wanted a sweater with a lot of textures and everything. And I remembered that a few months ago I bought from Deborah, so from Les Petites Potions, I bought her 3 skeins of, that's not the right color. I bought her 3 skeins of her sock base. So this is a standard merino nylon sock base, and this is not that color. This is the, so she changed the name. It used to be called Tanya, now I think it's called Roasted Almond, because it's more of a rust, orange rust color. It's not red like this. It's showing really red, which is beautiful, but it's more of a browny, rusty tone, if you will. So that's that yarn. And so I bought her 3 skeins because I wanted to make a sweater, and I wanted to make the Culm sweater by Fiona Alice, which is a Brooklyn tweed pattern. So if you don't know, Brooklyn tweed publishes patterns by Jared Flood, so Brooklyn Tweed's founder, but also by other designers, and Fiona Alice is the designer for this sweater in particular. So it's a bottom-up drop shoulder sweater with a lot of moss stitch and twisted ribbing details. So I started it. So it looks really small. I didn't swatch because the thing is, it's deceiving because, as you can see, so it's a lot of moss stitch, and it's moss stitch all around, and in the front you have a panel of twisted ribbing, like it's a broken twisted ribbing here. So that's the front of the sweater here. And so it's going to expand a little bit. You start with a flat hem, you knit it flat, a lot of twisted ribbing, some eyelet detail, twisted ribbing. Then you join in around here. This is going to be a split at the center back, and then you start doing your moss stitch all around with that twisted stitch panel at the front. And basically it's a 1x1 twisted rib, but in some purl columns they're alternating knit and purl, as you can see. So it sort of breaks the rib and it looks really good. You are also increasing on the sides here, so you're increasing here to sort of have like a bowl shape that goes up, and that is just a little bit tapered at, like, just gathered at the waist. It's supposed to have like a ton of ease. It's supposed to have like over 30 centimeter of ease, which is wrongly put in the pattern page because they wrote 14 inches 11 centimeters. That is not it. So, no more inch talk, Audrey, just breathe. So 30 plus centimeter ease, so like yeah, like at least 12 inch of ease. And so yeah, it's supposed to be quite big. And you do increase quite a lot here, so I hope that when I'm done increasing, when it will block, it will be the right size. I'm knitting the second size, which should give like 46 inch, 120 centimeter. Because yes, the pattern is written in inches mostly, and then it gives the millimeter for the needles. I don't really like the way Brooklyn tweed patterns are laid out. I don't find them ideally laid out. I understand, like, they're really concise and really effective, which is great because that's what you want. It's like really pretty and efficient, but the thing is, they, for example, the moss stitch motif here, the way the instructions are written is that it tells you an example row with the panel instruction here, and then it says work moss stitch pattern to the marker or whatever. And when you look at the moss stitch pattern instructions, which are separate, it's wrong. Basically, it doesn't give the right instructions for all the sections of moss stitch. It's okay because you know how to knit moss stitch, right? It's like a basic thing, so you just know that you're supposed to alternate thing. But when you are actually setting up, there's a mistake, and so you kind of have to know, like, it's definitely not beginner friendly, because if you're a beginner and you are like very religiously following what is written and what it says, it's not gonna be right. And you're gonna have weird edge stitch here around the center panel. So yeah, I don't really like how, and also there's no chart. I don't see, like, this would have been better as a chart to set it up, I think, because it basically tells you purl 1, knit 1 through the back loop, oh my god, purl 1, knit 1 through the back loop 5 times, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, knit 1 through the back loop 3 times. It's like, it's these types of instructions, and you're like, okay, fine. It would have been much more visual as a chart. Personal opinion, it still works, and once you've just set it up properly, it's really easy to follow, really pleasant to knit. You're basically just working in double moss stitch, and this is really easy to follow because on one round, on these lines here, you're purling, on the other one you're knitting, so you know what you have to do just by looking at it. And you just increase from time to time to the side. So quite mindless, really pretty. I absolutely love how it looks. I really hope my gauge is fine, but it should be, because I can't knit that any looser. But it should be okay. It should be okay, because it's gonna increase a lot. Ah. It's a drop shoulder, then it has really neat color, neat cuffs that are the same as this here. So yeah, it's a really beautiful all over textured sweater, but like with simple textures, and that's what I wanted to do. I really love that front panel, basically. That's the thing. So this is the Culm sweater by Fiona Alice. Yeah, the comments are a bit harsh on the pattern because of that, how it's written and how it's like it doesn't That's a slight mistake, but that is Brooklyn tweeds pattern, and yeah, I've experienced it before, and I'm kind of okay with it. Basically, I understand that this is how they write their pattern, and that it's to make them efficient looking, I guess. But in the end, it all works out. So that's really cool. And this color. Basically, she dyed this colorway, and she showed it on Instagram, and I was like, I want it. So I got it from her, basically, and I'm really happy to be knitting with it. I sort of needed a happy project, so that's why I got this yarn, because I knew the color would make me so happy. It is not the color you're seeing. It's like, it's more rust. It's my favorite color, you know, it's that rusty tone. I'm gonna try and take a picture of it later to put on Instagram, so hopefully I'll get the right shade. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. It's quite slow, obviously, because you're like knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, but you know, I have time, don't I? But yeah, it's going smoothly. I'm gonna have a beautiful sweater, and that's what I wanted. The thing is, I'm using a sock yarn, so I can't knit it too loose, but the gauge isn't supposed to be loose. The gauge is 25 stitches, and I think that's what I have in Moss Stitch, 25 stitches per 10 centimeter. It's definitely what I have, but it still looks small. But I've read through the projects on Ravelry, and other people say the same. It says it looks really small before you block it, but yeah, I guess that's normal. And I'm carrying it in my project bag by Melissa Swad, which is Petite Moutaine. She's a French maker. She crafts these, like she makes these drawings, and she crafts this beautiful project bag. And I got it last year, I think. And it's a really nice bag, and it's quite big for a sweater, so that's lovely. And yeah, that's what I've been working on at the moment. I want to show you some yarn that I got. So a couple of, no, more than that, like a month ago, I was contacted by Katia yarns. So Katia yarns, if you don't know, is a commercial brand of yarn from Spain. Basically, yeah, they're a commercial brand. They have a variety of yarn bases. They're widely distributed in many retailers, and they contacted me a month ago asking if first they wanted me to come to a yarn show in Paris, which was afterwards cancelled, sadly, to present their new yarn, to which I had to say, well, I don't live in Paris. Like, surprisingly, most French people do. So I couldn't come. But then they were very kind and actually offered to send me some of their yarn if I was interested to. And it's always a little bit weird for me, because when brands ask me if I want to review their yarn or something, yes, but then the thing is I'm a designer, so I can't really function like an influencer, right? And just have one skein and make a swatch and tell you what I think. Like, it's not useful for me. I don't think it's that useful for you. So the thing is, when I want to talk about a brand or a yarn or share something, I like to incorporate it into my design work. So I like to design something with it. But then I'm in that really weird position where I'm like, yeah, I would love to discover your yarn, and if it's good and if I like it, to talk about it to my community, but I need to make a design, so I kind of need a lot of it. You know, I don't need just one ball. And it's really awkward, because I'm like, I really hate asking for stuff. This is why I'm a savage, and I just buy yarn from dyers, and then I'm like, hey, I made a design with that yarn, and they're like, you could have warned me, I'm making kits now, like we could have arranged something. And I'm like, but I didn't want to bother you. So yeah, that's a little bit I'm I'm a little bit of a savage bear in that regard. But yeah, I'm aware of it. And so that was just really awkward, and I didn't answer to them for a few days because of that. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna tell them. I'm gonna be an adult and I'm gonna tell them I would like to, but I think it's better if I can design something with your yarn, so that I like it's better to share yarn in that way, right? When you're a designer, you know more about it, you have worked with it more in depth, you have a project to share with you, and you can actually like properly share the word about that yarn. And they were like, yeah, okay, no problem, we can send you whatever yarn you want and in whatever quantity. And I was like, okay. So what did I do? I just went into Katia's website and looked through their collections, and I gave them 3 yarns that I was interested in. And I did say or. I said, just in case they didn't have the stock, or just in case they had a preference into which collection they wanted to put forward. So I gave them options, and they sent me everything. So thank you, Katia. That is overly generous. Yeah, so I received a bunch of yarn, and I have 3 quantities for designs that I think I really wanna like take advantage of it and make my summer designs with. So the first one, which I think is the first one I'm gonna knit with, is this. This is sea cotton, and I was really intrigued by it because that's kind of what I like about commercial brands, you know, is that you can see lots of different blends. So obviously lots of them I don't really like, because they're either because it's acrylic. Again, no judgment for acrylic, it's really convenient. I personally don't like using it. However, Katia has a lot of options with other types of fibers. And so this is one of them. This is a blend of 75% cotton and 25% lyocell. And lyocell, if you don't know, is sort of a man-made, I mean, it's chemically modified fibers originally made from wood, but you can make lyocell, it's also called tencel sometimes. You can make it out of everything, because I see some that is made from wood, eucalyptus wood, and then, for example, this is made from algae, so that's why it's called sea cell. And it's like a really interesting fiber anyway, and a really summer friendly one. You can see it has some algae and a little fish here. So yeah, I thought that was really intriguing, and I think it would be nice for a summer top. So basically it's a really smooth yarn like cotton, but it feels a little bit more plushy and elastic because of the lyocell. With like all tencel yarns, you have quite a few merino tencel blends in the market. I have another one here, and tencel is like really drapey and shiny. It's sort of an alternative to bamboo, if I understood correctly, like viscose. It's a more ecologically friendly solution when you want bamboo, basically. And this is made in Spain. They're all made in Spain, so yay Spain, go Spain. And I'm really intrigued by it. Like most cotton yarns, it's like it has like 20 billion plies, but this is unraveling because I unraveled it myself to count the plies. It has 12 ply, but it's holding its shape pretty well. I don't think it's gonna split when I'm gonna be knitting it, and I really appreciate that, because this is usually my problem with cotton yarns, is that they split a lot. Most commercial cotton yarns have like 20 billion plies and they split. This looks like it's holding its shape. Its shape. Oh my god, a little bit better. It's really shiny. It's super soft. It looks really smooth. It looks almost like a plasticky cord, but it doesn't feel plasticky. It feels really moist and soft. Moist. I said moist. Sorry. shouldn't say that word. Yeah, it's like a sport decay. So I have a few of them. This is the color 112. It's like a very light grey, like yes, greeny sea green, sea grey thing. I'm gonna make a summer top with that. I already have an idea, but I'm trying to submit it to a magazine if I can and not forget to submit it by the deadline. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely making a summer top with that. I think it's gonna be one of my first really summery project this year, because I'm really intrigued by this. I really want to see how it behaves. I'm not a huge fan of cotton. I love linen. Linen is my thing. So I'm trying to find cotton things that I like. I love this one, the Bio Balance, and I think this is interesting. This is completely different. I want to try this, and so that's why I asked for it. Second one I got, well, it's a wool and tencel blend. So there's a few dyers that have merino and tencel blend that they dye, and I really like it. It's really shiny and drapey. It's beautiful. I have a couple of skein from El Robledal de la Santa. I never remember how it is. There are Spanish Angora farmers, and they also dye some yarn, and they have a merino tencel blend that I got from them last year at the festival, and it's beautiful. But it's mostly merino and then a little bit of tencel. I think I've seen 50-50, which is interesting. But this, so from Katia, this is Concept by Concept, and so Concept is like their range of more eco-friendly, like a little bit more natural fibers. Well, natural tencel is not natural. I mean, you get what I mean. It's like, it's not acrylic-y thing, basically. So it's a little bit more of their precious range. It's like, I feel a lot of commercial brands have that, is that they have their regular range, and then they sort of developed ranges that appeal to us, like the people who knit all the time, anything all year, stuff like this, and that are a little bit more specific about the fiber content. And so Concept by Katia is this, and this is their tencel merino. So it's more lyocell. It's 70% lyocell, so that's huge, and 30% merino, virgin merino. And it's also sport weight. It has 135 meters, 250 grams, and it's really nice. And I really like that it has more tencel than merino, because I want to see how that behaves. Basically, it's gonna drape a lot, I expect. It's like really shiny and smooth, but it still has a little bit of the wool bounciness. I want to make cables with it. I want to make a huge sweater. I asked, like, it's even worse than that, because not only did they send me everything, they sent me more. I asked for, I don't remember how many balls of this, and they gave me more. I think they gave me the whole bag of it. That's why. So I have a lot of it. Enough for a huge, cozy, cabled sweater. So that's what I plan to do with it. This is the color 56. And it's the green. It's the color of my wool. Yeah, a little bit darker. Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm really curious to see how this behaves. I think it's gonna show definition quite well. On Katia's website you can see examples, because basically, like most commercial brands, they have their own patterns as well, and you can buy kits. And so basically, when you are looking at a yarn, you can see patterns that fit that yarn, and so you have examples of what can possibly be done. And there is also a colorwork garment shown in that yarn that looks quite good, so why not an idea. This is really soft. And then ta-da! And then, why is everything so red? And then I got a couple of skeins of this, and this is their nature yarn. So this is a little bit more fancy. This is 100% wool. It's superwash, like everything is superwash. It's a commercial brand, but the color, yeah. It's very similar to the sweater I'm knitting, to Les Petites Potions yarn. It's like that rusty cinnamon thing. Look, it even has cinnamon sticks on the ball band. Like, why? Why? It says cinnamon. It comes in a range of beautiful colors. It's a fingering weight, 400 meters to 100 gram. It looks really good. It's very well plied and gonna have a good definition. It's pretty soft. It's not the softest. It's not merino. It just says virgin wool. So yeah. I did have a look. So it's not easy to find. Because I don't know, but it's not easy to find. I had to find the information on retailers by Katia, and they are not, as my information goes, they're not using merino that comes from musing sources. If you have clearer information on that, let me know, but I have looked deep and basically their retailers, like some of their retailers have very strict ecological and animal rights values, and so they had to ask themselves whether or not their merino came from musling, oh my god, animals, and as far as I could tell, Katia doesn't. As far as they could tell, Katia doesn't. So that's good. But this doesn't seem to be merino. It's not. I don't know what it is, but it's nice. It has an interesting texture. It's probably merino. It's just not the smoothest, actually. I mean, it doesn't seem to be like your typical superwash merino, super soft thing. It's a little bit more woolly, which is nice, you know. And I have 2 of those, so I told you they sent me way too much things. I have 2 of those, so I plan to make a shawl. Another shawl in that color. A shawl design. Probably for the autumn, because color. That's a nice frame, right? I need to try to fit in the frame. Yeah, so basically I got spoiled, and I just wanted to show them to you, because especially for these 2, in case you at the moment are looking for summer friendly yarns, we see more and more of those, and I'm really happy about it, because I love knitting for the summer. I love plant fibers, and I really want to see more of them and improved versions of them, because some of the plant fibers are have a difficult ecological impact, and so I'm really happy to see. It seems that every year companies and dyers are bringing in new summer yarns, and I'm really excited for this, because I really love trying them out. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to share them with you, in case you are currently looking for summer friendly knits. This could be an option. And with that, I have shared everything that I wanted to talk about. This is going to be a very long episode. It's because I'm a little bit distracted, but yeah, I think you understand. So I have said everything about knitting and yarn and stuff, and I just wanted to quickly address the situation very quickly, just to let you know what's happening. Basically, as everyone knew, sort of, the virus that has hurt China and other countries in Asia so bad has obviously spread first to Europe, and is reaching Northern America as well at the moment, like it has. And so basically France is in lockdown for as I'm recording this, a few days now, which means that we are not allowed to go out unless it's an essential work. Like, most businesses are closed, everything, basically. I am fine. I am very well. I have no problem. It's not an ideal situation for me, for my family and I, like money-wise and health-wise, because I live with my parents, and my mother works in the medical area. She basically works at a center that takes care of children with disabilities, and up until recently she had to go to work, but which means that she was exposed to a lot of people, including children. They closed now, so now she's working from home, so that's okay, but basically we're very exposed because of that, and also because now my father, he is working in the food distribution thing, so is my brother, and my sister works at the pharmacy, so that's great. And yeah, so my father still is going to work at the supermarket, so he's very exposed, but you know, it's okay. You really measure luck at that moment, and we're really comfortable. Someone is running from the police, I assume. We're really comfortable. Like, I'm in the best possible situation, I'm in the best possible country to have sort of a health situation, right? And so there's nothing to be worried about me or my family. People have been exchanging very kind words, but thank you so much for your concern, but I'm more than fine. Like, really, I have nothing to complain about. Like I said, a little bit worried about my father, and we're very likely to get exposed to the virus, but it's, I mean, none of us is in a difficult situation as of yet, and we're fine. We have a garden, we have our doggies, we're okay. It's yeah, it's just a little bit of a worrying situation for those who are not as lucky as we are. That's the thing. There are lots of help things put in place, local help. People are helping keeping people's childs, people are doing groceries for the elderly or people that are at risk. I cannot do any of that because I am basically, we've been told that since we live with someone who has to keep going with a lot of public, we're basically the worst persons in the universe. So I need to stay in. So I cannot help anyone physically, and it's a bit frustrating. So I'm trying to do something, and if you're confined, if you want to stay at home, if you need a pattern or something, I have made a selections of my design. Like, the best thing I can do is put my work into the thing, right? I have made a selection of my patterns that are easy, mindless, really relaxing to knit, like really chill knitting things, you know, because I wanted it to be appropriate for now, basically. So there are 10 of them, and I've put them in a bundle on Ravelry, and they're currently 50% off, like no code nor whatever. You just take them, they're 50% off in case you want to knit something at the moment. And yeah, it's just a little quiet, little peaceful moment of what we love. And then the rest of the benefit, I'm gonna take out the fees that I like automatically have. When you make a payment, I automatically have fees. I'm gonna take those out, and I'm gonna give the rest to research. So the thing is, I've been looking for associations to give to that help the people, the healthcare workers and everything, but I live in a country with a health system, so things are state-owned, and it's okay. So I've decided to give it to research. I'm going to give it to the Pasteur Institute, which is the well-known medical research institute in France. They're working on a lot of things, so I've been donating to them on other occasions, personal occasions in the past, so I'm just gonna do that because it makes sense. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know, in case you fancy a quiet, peaceful knit. Basically, I've chosen the patterns that are either mostly stockinette or garter, or if they have a texture, it's like a really easy, repetitive one. Basically, so that it's chill to knit. So the link to the bundle is in the YouTube description in case you want to have a look at that. And yeah, my business is okay. I should have started with that. My business is okay. I'm really not affected. Like, I'm selling digital products, so my only problem, and it's like, it's not a problem, my only question is that I have to make some sample and then ship them to people, samples, and so that's the only thing that I'm unsure about at the moment. So as you can see, it's really not a problem. So I encourage everyone to go help however they can, whoever they can and want, locally, and then the people who are suffering, which are people who have physical businesses, mostly like little creative businesses, and healthcare workers, those low-killed jobs, which I used to do so much of. Yeah, those people, the fragile people, just, yeah, help whoever you can, stay safe, stay cozy, enjoy what makes you happy. In case you need any recommendation, I am a video game person. So, well, I'm still working, so I'm working from home. Yeah, I'm working from home with my mom, and my poor mom we have to help her other colleagues set up their computer so that they can work remotely with the data center of their work, basically, and it's a little bit difficult. Yeah, they're doctors, they're not engineers, but neither am I, and yet here am I. I'm like an IT support person for my mom and her colleagues at the moment, so my work has been a little bit disturbed. Well, I'm still working, basically, and yeah, whenever I wouldn't be working and like I would go out or whatever, now I'm playing video games. So in case you need recommendations, either for you, or maybe if you have your children at home and you fancy and like you want them to play video games, if they're old enough, you know, to be on the screen, yeah, some of my favorite chill games, obviously Stardew Valley, which is like it's a simulator where you farm stuff. It sounds horrible. It's a really peaceful game. A lot of people know it, so I'm just in case. It's really peaceful game with nice music. You're basically in a little village and you're trying to set up your farm, and you're discovering the life of the village, and you're trying to make money by planting your little food and selling them, and that's just a really chill game that a lot of people like because it's really relaxing and stuff. Gris, which is a platformer game, it's a really beautiful game. It's the most beautiful thing. I have to play it a lot at the moment. And yeah, games like that are maybe a little bit more difficult, games like Celeste, which is another platformer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, platformers are like, basically, if you know Mario, like if you don't know anything about video games, you probably know Mario. You know, you have to jump on things and collect items by jumping through them, right? So these are the type of game I'm talking about. So Celeste is one of them. It's quite difficult though, but if you have like a teenager, or if yourself you wanna play it, it's a really beautiful, funny game with a great music. It's quite hard, but it's fun. Hollow Knight is another game that is really nice to play. enough. There's Animal Crossing coming out, but I don't have a Switch console. But if you do, get your kid and yourself Animal Crossing, because it's like the most relaxing thing ever. But yeah, some recommendations in case you're a video games person or you have video game people around you and you didn't know these really popular games that I just mentioned. Yeah, I'm gonna go now because this episode is long enough, and I wish you well. I will probably see you in a couple of weeks. I don't know yet, because some of my plans have been moved, and I'm currently figuring things out for the next month. So I will see you later. Take care, and yeah, stay safe. Bye!